Hi, all. This is Dr. J. So we're live from Long Island, New York, where it began to snow at about 1 in the morning, and it ended probably about 9 a.m., 10 a.m., something like that. And it left us with just a few inches, nothing. And by the end of the day, before the sun went down, we had virtually nothing on the ground. So weather-wise, it was fine. Didn't limit anybody's ability to get around. Not that we had great places to go or people to see, but nevertheless, we managed to get out of the house, moving, doing, grooving. And when I came home, I decided to chart my stocks. Now, I didn't chart the biotechs yet, except for Tandem and OncoSec Medical. But we have all the others to look at as well. That's the Dow Jones I charted. And the Dow Jones, I think, is particularly vulnerable to another week of up and back and mainly down. So that's my forecast for the Dow. It's going to go down unless it goes up. No, I'm just kidding. I think it's going to go down. Not too much, but down. Just like I said last Friday about the Dow, that I thought it would go down by maybe 500 points by the end of the week. Didn't happen. It went down, but not 500 points. It virtually changed the week down a couple of hundred points. Almost a doji. Speaking of dojis, 4 out of the 5 days of the week ended in dojis for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. A tug of war on a daily basis between the bulls and the bears, mostly won by the bears. But like I said, if you put together the 5 days into a weekly candle, you hardly notice any movement other than the shadows. From the open to the close is very, very small. We'll look at it. Besides charting the Dow, the only other general market index I charted was the IWM, which is equivalent to the RUT or the Russell 2000. I postponed the charting of IBB for the biotech special report, which will either follow this or we'll have to wait for tomorrow, depending on Dr. J's mood, I guess. All right, let's see. Okay, so let's try to get going. As always, do your own due diligence. My opinions are strictly my own and do not constitute investment advice. Check with a registered investment advisor before you make any trades, unless you really feel confident that you know what you're doing, in which case you can follow me, because I have some great ideas at times, but do so at your own risk. And of course, I have some clunkers. Make sure you don't follow those. Differentiate. Your job is to pick the good ideas and separate them out from the clunkers. And as I said before, let me know which are my good ideas ahead of time so I can take advantage. Tandem, for example, I didn't take full advantage, and I'm very upset. Anyway, not that upset, a little upset. I'm happy about ATHX, which we'll talk about in the special biotech report. So let's take a look at the general market, tech stocks mainly that I charted. Okay. And social networking, I charted Snap and Twitter. Let's look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, left to right. It's a little slow because I have 14 charts with windows open. Look at that beautiful ascending channel, a thing of beauty. However, notice for the week, notice the daily. For the day on Friday, it changed it was virtually unchanged from the open. like a 7-point difference. So you have this tiny little green line, which represents the body of the candle. It's essentially, it is a doji. And 4 out of the 5 days, with the exception of Thursday, were dojis. If you put that together into a weekly candle, you'll see hardly any movement between the open and the close. So this was a week that wasn't in terms of Dow Jones Industrial Averages. Doesn't give us much of a hint as to direction, except notice the close was below the lower end of the channel. This we don't like. That's why I think we get a continuation next week to the downside. How low? Maybe 25.5, maybe 24.800, something like that. I think it'll be weak throughout the week. WEAK throughout the WEEK. Don't you just love homonyms? AMD, advanced. No, Amazon, I'm sorry. I'm a little blurry-eyed already. Amazon.com. I have AMD on my mind, but I don't think I charted it. So let's look at Amazon. Amazon, of course, had a beautiful run because I closed my position at 1635. It's up another 36 points since I did that. I meant to close a part of it, and I accidentally hit sell all, and I didn't feel like undoing my trade, so I let it slide, and of course, Amazon punished me for that. Jeff Bezos may come to Long Island City after all. I will personally invite him to my house if he comes to Long Island City. Remember, Long Island City is not Long Island, but I will nonetheless send a car for him if I have to. Well, he can be, actually, he's rich enough, he doesn't need me to send a car. He can send a car for me and bring me to the new headquarters. Okay, Jeff, you hear that? Go get him. We want you in Long Island City. The stock showed a little life. As I said, a little pop. It's now trading in the midpoint of its channel, horizontal channel. If it takes out the 1736 high, it'll challenge the 1780 double top. So it's heading in the right direction, but I think the general market's going to be weak. So I don't know if it gets there yet. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if it pulls back to the area that I sold it at, about 735. So I could have another opportunity to buy it back if I so choose. Apple. AAPL. That's how you spell Apple. No, it's not how. By the way, what's your favorite kind of apple? Oh, I know, it's a Macintosh, right? A Mac. Yeah. Now mine happens to be a Golden Delicious. I think they're the best. When in season. Well, even when not in season. So what is Apple doing? Straddling the support level here at 172, touching it just about every day last week, finishing nicely on Friday, as the market finished nicely on Friday. But nevertheless, it ended in a doji, a bullish looking doji, but nevertheless a doji. So on Monday, it had a bearish doji. On Friday, it had a bullish doji. Put them together, we get a neutral doji. So if you look at it for the week, it should look like basically no movement in the body. Let's take a quick look at the weekly. See that? We have a beautiful doji for the week. Same, of course, is true for the Dow. If we look at the weekly on the Dow, you'll see a beautiful doji. Not quite. There was more movement on the Dow than there was on amazon.com. Okay, let's look at, I'm looking at Apple, rather. Apple's got the beautiful doji. What do I think Apple's going to do? I think Apple's going to continue up at a slower rate than the rest of the market, just like I said last Friday. I think the same is true for Amazon. I think the direction is up. The overall direction of the market is up, but I think we get a little pullback next week. And if so, Apple will pull back as well, probably a couple of points. I don't think Apple is going anywhere and quick. I mean, it's going to go somewhere, but not quick. Oncosec Medical is found support at 55 cents, I hope. That is its low, multi-month low, 54 cents. Closed at 55 cents on Friday. I may very well take a flyer on it. Get rid of it real quick with a dip below 54 cents, but look for a move to the upper end of its channel around 65 to 68 pennies. So I'm looking for a 10-cent move and a couple of points on the downside, maybe give it 2.2 cents on the downside, maybe 3. So I'd be looking at 3-cent loss, maybe a 10-cent gain or more. So I like those odds, but it's tough to hit them because you're playing it very close to the vest. Of course, if it separates below this 55 level, I don't know where it's going, and I'm going to be very upset because I'm still stuck with a lot of it. I might actually wind up dumping. Fit. And I love the company. I love the product. Did I tell you I love the drug Tavo? I think Tavo has tremendous opportunity to be given as a what do you want to call it? An adjunct drug to Keytruda and other checkpoint inhibitors that will make non-responders into responders. I just don't love the design of the trial. I don't want to get into that now. But the data I thought was good, very good, and yet Wall Street didn't like it. I don't know what Wall Street expects. Miracles? We don't see miracles that often. The last miracle drug in the last 2 centuries is probably penicillin. Before that, probably aspirin. Not too many miracle drugs. Okay, maybe there's one from this century, from more recently. Another miracle drug, Viagra. Not that I know about that. Fitbit. Fitbit is one that I really like, except I don't like the chart. It collapsed, and I can't buy it at these levels, even though I really like the company. So I'm going to look for a movement back down to the 560 level. If as a spot for me to go in, if I do go in, I think it's very problematic. It might have been a dead cat bounce. Something. I hate that expression, dead cat bounce, but that's when they call it, when a stock collapses and just goes up the next day. And maybe that's what Friday was for Fit. So I can't buy it here, even though I don't know if I'm long-term bullish. I do like the product line, but whether, it might mean I'll buy a new Versa watch, but not buy the stock. Carvana. Okay, Carvana is you know what that is. That's the internet car dealer. I don't get the internet used cars on the internet. Don't like the business model. I think I would never buy a used car on the internet. Anyway, that's besides the point. It's been behaving beautifully up until Thursday and Friday when it got iffy. Friday, it sold off in a strong market. I think look for a follow-up move to the downside next week. Probably back down to the 40 area. And if you want to take a flyer there, buy it close to 40. I would probably look for a target of $49 with a stop at 31 or something like that. Even money shot. I'm not crazy about the company though. But if you are, go ahead. Snap, crackle, and pop. I'm even less crazy about the business model. I don't understand it. The young kids like it. I guess if I was 12 or 13, 16, 18, I might like it. You could put dirty pictures that disappear quick or something like that. So I'm not a Snap. I don't have a Snapchat, whatever it's called, account. Maybe I should get with the program and open one up and post on Snap like all the other kiddies do. But Snap had a tremendous snapback, a huge snapback from $5 to $10. Not bad at all. Hovering around the 980 support level, just hanging out. Unclear which way it's going to go, but as I said, if the market gives back 500 to 1,000 points next week, I think Snap will give back some as well. Ones that could buck the market are some of the biotech, some of the pot stocks. And in general market pullback, I think Snap is vulnerable, especially after this run-up it's had. IWM is the Russell 2000. Of course, I'm assuming that I'm right about a move to the downside next week. I could be wrong. It could zoom up, in which case some of these might be immediate buys. The Russell 2000 shows a nice chart similar to the other indices, but badly outperformed by the diamonds or the Dow. So the diamonds would be up 0.15% over the last 6 months, let's say flat. Whereas if you were in the IWM, you'd be down 7.5%. So it's a difference of almost 8%. I think that difference will narrow. I think by the end of 2019, you'll see them together again. So the diamonds and the IWM will once again get together and be close, just like they were 6 months ago. How romantic. Okay, NEO. The NEO is, did you hear the NEO is going to outperform Tesla? I don't know, it's what I hear. That's what the NEO bulls and the Tesla bears are saying. Look out for NEO. Here comes NEO. Meanwhile, Tesla is already here, and they have a big advantage over NEO. Not saying NEO won't be successful. According to the chart, it's already successful with a recent run from 6 to 1064. That's a very nice pop. It's certainly not going to maintain the parabolic type behavior that it's exhibited over the last 2 weeks, but it could, after a little pullback, resume it. So look for a pullback on NEO for a better entry point. If I were looking to enter, I'd probably be looking to enter the low here at 946. Something like that, 950. So I think you can do better than to buy it at the open. I think you can put in buy at 950 if that's what you're inclined to do. I think you can get 950. If you're patient enough, you might get lower, let's say the low of the day before, 933. Not that there's that much difference, and it depends on whether you want it for an investment or a trade. If you want it for an investment, you can just go ahead and buy it at the open. It's not going to make a big difference. If you're looking to trade it, You have to be more nimble. Try to wait it out for a better, I think, for a better opportunity to get in. Although you never know. If I'm wrong about the market being weak, Neo could surprise and just keep going. One thing about stocks, they seem to surprise you more often than not. Tesla. It's just that I think the odds favor a little pullback if you're really looking to get into Neo. Tesla has shown a tremendous swing of confidence from "we love you, Elon" to "Elon, you're a flake, go away." So Tesla is so one with Elon Musk that it's really, when you're buying Tesla, you're buying a piece of him. And I don't know if that's good or bad, because despite Elon's tremendous ego, he's not the only one that could succeed with Tesla. I'm sure that many other executives, CEOs, might do a better job than him at taking over the reins of Tesla going forward. I told you I sat in the Model 3. I think it's a phenomenal car. They're coming out with a cheaper version for 35 grand. And in many states, there's a $5,000 energy incentive for these electric vehicles, bringing it down to 30,000. That's a very affordable family car. I think they're going to outsell all estimates, all analyst estimates. So my feeling is, if you don't own a piece of Tesla, buy it on the dips. I think you can get a dip to as low as 278, maybe even next week, if the week goes as I think it's going to go. Of course, it's very contingent on the Dow and the other indices giving back, the Dow giving back about 1,000 points. Whether that happens or not, is unclear. I think it will. Others may disagree with me, might say it's going to be a bullish week. And a lot depends on other factors besides the charts. So, I mean, pure chartists would never say that, because everything is supposed to be baked into the charts. So, based on Friday's weakness, you would have to think that this low is in trouble, will be challenged. 288.77 should be challenged. And whether or not that holds, again, is unclear. But if that's taken out, I think you'll see 278. So you got the first line of support right here, then 278. Let's take a look at Twitter. Twitter is my favorite social media platform. As you know, Dr. J is on Twitter. I do tweet a lot. So, yeah. So the problem with Twitter is it's showing a very ominous looking pattern where it goes up, only to fall down, goes up, only to fall down, goes up, only to fall down. So it looks like Twitter might go up a little and then fall down again. This has been the pattern for a while now, going all the way back here. Come on, mouse. Same pattern here, going all the way up, falling back, all the way up, all the way up, falling back, all the way up, falling back, all the way up, falling back. You know what kind of pattern you call this? A pretty shitty one. That's what I call it. ACB. So, would I be a buyer of Twitter? Yeah, I happen to like Twitter, believe it or not, after all of that. But I like it better at below 30, probably 29. And hopefully it holds support at around 29. It doesn't have to, because it held it here, but it didn't hold it earlier. So, it's a gamble. If it starts going through that 29 level, I would quickly close my position if I go into a swing trade on Twitter. ACB. Siri, shut up. ACB is, of course, Aurora Cannabis. And Aurora Cannabis has got a terrific chart from 4 on up. It did go below its upper trend line, but hey, it's hard to maintain such an upward momentum. So it pulled back to the $7 level from the 834 high, and then tried to make another run at it, pulled back a little on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So according to this, it looks like it may pull back to the $7 level again, where I would be a buyer looking for 834 with a stop at 6. So if it pulls back to, let's use even numbers, I would probably enter at 7, stop at 6, take profit at 8, or something around that. It's a hypothetical trade, but one that if it presents itself, I might just try it. All of these hypothetical trades, I may try or I may not. And you should use your own judgment. As I said before, do your own due diligence. And what I say about my opinions is strictly my own. Nobody else has such cockamamie opinions like I do. You like that word, cockamamie? I learned that in Brooklyn, growing up in Brooklyn. You think this is a Long Island accent? No, it's a Brooklyn accent. The difference between a Brooklyn accent and a Long Island accent is they basically sound the same, except from Long Island, they say Long Island, New York. And from Brooklyn, you say Toity Street. That's the difference. And you say bad boy. You don't say bad boy. The only ones from Brooklyn who say bad boys are the ones that are uppity up, snobbish ones. Everyone else says bad boys or bad girls. Okay. I packed my car in Harvard Yard. Now that's Boston. That's not Brooklyn. They both begin with a B though. Canopy Growth. Oh yeah, Canopy Growth. I have a nice position now in Canopy Growth. I hope Canopy Growth grows. Its recent high 51.88. Its recent low 41.58. I think that's the trading range. So that if we get that down week, I'd probably be looking to get in somewhere around here, 43.25. If it goes that low, with a stop loss at 40 and a take profit at 50. I don't know if it's going that low, but if it should pull back 4 points, I'm in. I might not just be in for a swing trade. I might be adding to my core position. Tandem is the beast that roared. Will Tandem ever pull back, or will it go straight to 100? What's going on? Obviously something wrong. It closed at $69. It's not $48. I wish it were $48. I'd buy all I can because I know it's going to $69. I guess that's better, $69.24. You notice the gap up. This thing may go express right to 100 before it pulls back. But I have a strong, call it gut feeling, that this gap will be filled before it continues to go up. I'm not saying immediately. It could certainly go up tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But I think we're going to have a hell of a pullback eventually. Now, it may be a long time, that eventually, but I have that strong gut feeling that eventually, even if it's a year from now or 2 years from now, this gap might be closed, believe it or not. So if you want to wait around, you might be able to get it for $48 again. But more realistically, you have a shot to get it in the mid 60s, I would think. Okay, so if you're as frustrated as me, raise your hand about not having been in it. Dr. J's been focusing on this stock since it was 40, espousing the virtues of owning Tandem. And yet I only have a tiny position because, and that's only because of one of my viewers who urged me to take a position so I don't totally shoot myself if I miss it. And I thank that person. I forgot your name, with an L. We were having a little Twitter chat today. I don't know where I am. Camera, put me back on so I can say good night to everybody and thank you for viewing, folks. Don't forget to subscribe to this vlog. Don't forget to give me the thumbs up. Don't forget to tell your friends about Dr. J's wonderful opinions, which are strictly his own, and write comments. I want to thank you for the wonderful comments on yesterday's vlog. I had a beautiful conversation with a half a dozen of you or more, and I'd love to see that again tonight. This has been Dr. J, streaming live from Long Island, New York. I want to say shalom, sayonara, arrivederci, au revoir, ciao, goodbye, hasta mañana. See you soon. Hasta luego.